Yo, what's good everyone? It's me, Mr. Mugma, and in today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys the absolute best buff units to go for inside of Anime Adventures that's going to make your life 10 times easier. Anyways, before we get into it, make sure to like and subscribe. Let's get right into the video. Alright guys, so in my opinion, there's basically 3 types of buff units, that being money units, universal buff units, and unit specific buff units. Now the most important of these is buff units, the universal buff units, and money units. Honestly, unit specific buff units are still good, but they're not as good as universal or money buff units. So first, the unit I want to talk about first in this video is Idol. Now Idol was available in a previous battle pass, but you can get her now through the summoning because she's just that OP. She also has many skins for almost every seasonal event out there you can find an Idol skin for, just because she's that meta. I believe she has a summer skin, a winter skin, and a Halloween skin. She's just that good. So yeah, I definitely bring her on any team you have. The reason she's so good is that she provides a cost reduction and a damage increase to every single unit. Basically, I think she reduces their cost by about 20%, which is really good on expensive units such as Ainz and Aizen, but she also buffs their damage by around 15% on any unit. So a global 15% damage buff and a 20% cost reduction, that's pretty good in my opinion. But yeah, she's definitely a very meta unit. I'd get her first out of any buff unit. Alright, next unit we have is Bloodcry. Now I actually have mine shiny, and I'll be releasing a showcase video for Bloodcry soon. So if you guys want to go ahead and watch that, be sure to subscribe because it'll be coming out very shortly. But yeah, Bloodcry is an insane unit. Basically, her ability is very similar to that of Power's, which I think I have Power as well. But both of them deal 4 times bleed damage to everything that they hit. So anything they hit, your bleed units will deal 4 times bleed damage to. And this is very good on units like Guts. Yeah, I have Power right here. Blood Unleashed, both of them are very good. They basically, whenever they attack, they cause the enemy to take 4 times bleed damage. And as you guys can see, I managed to pull myself a unique Guts. So having the ability to have 4 times bleed damage on Guts when he already deals 50% of his damage as bleed is just insane. He'll be dealing so much more damage, not to mention Guts is full AoE, so that makes any unit that requires Guts exponentially easier. So yeah, I definitely recommend going for bleed amplification units. The ones currently available are Shultier, aka Bloodcry, and Power. Power is available through trading for about 70 value, and you can get Shultier / Bloodcry through the summoning banner. She's pretty common to show up, so yeah, definitely go summon for her or go trade for Power. Alright, next one I want to talk about is actually Inhuman Nullifier. Now this guy I also had in my top secrets tier list, which you guys can see in my most recent videos. I'll link it here. But yeah, he's one of the top secrets in the game, mainly due to his ability, which he buffs any other unit in the game by taking away any effects off the enemy. Basically, this means he turns all flying enemies into ground. He takes away any positive status effect the enemies have, such as buff speed or anything like that. Yo, shout out to Unique for being subscribed, bro. I appreciate it. Yo, if y'all want to join me, joins are always on for followers. But yo, shout out to Unique, bro. I appreciate it. Hope my guides helped you, bro. Anyways, back to why Dazai is so good. Dazai will basically take off any positive effect from the enemy, and basically he'll take off all of them. He can take off their flying abilities, he can take off their Godspeed abilities. He will basically turn any enemy into a normal ground enemy, and this is insane for stages that have flying bosses. You can take out any flying boss with like no difficulty at all, and yeah, bro, he makes the game so much easier, especially for legend stages or tournaments that have very bad modifiers. And yeah, I'd recommend him up there with Homura. Now that actually brings us to our next sort of buff unit, Homura. She's not really that much of a buff as much as she is a stun or slow unit. But yeah, she's the best stun and slow in the whole game. I definitely recommend bringing her for anything. She can, I think, buff the damage of your units a little bit. However, I don't know if she does that exactly. But however, she does make your units able to deal a lot more as she stuns the enemies for multiple seconds in her range, thus making your units able to attack them way faster and way easier too. I'd recommend her for any competitive content in the game. She makes it so much easier. But however, she is 500 value, I think, and that's the only way to get her as of now. Alright, next unit is Trickster Release. This guy has a 30% magic buff on all units, and I think he has some other buffs as well. He is a fairly decent buff unit, however, he's nothing crazy, considering that now we have other better buff units, which I'll be talking about shortly. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video to see which ones are the best. But yeah, overall, I'd highly recommend bringing him if you have him and you don't have any other buff units. He's pretty insane. Alright, next we have Griffin. I don't have mine evoed currently because his evo is pretty hard to get, but Griffin evolved and turning him into his buff form is insane. His buff allows all units to deal double damage, and honestly, it's just flat out cracked, bro. I cannot tell you any other unit that has an ability even near what Griffith's buff does, bro. It's absolutely insane. I definitely recommend him as one of the best buff units besides the next two units I'm about to talk about. But just know that he's very insane. Bring him for any hard stage and you'll be able to do it much easier. Alright, the last two units I'm going to be talking about in this video are Wenda and Orwin. Basically, these two units are absolutely insane. However, they do have some drawbacks that I would definitely note before using them, but overall they're very good units. Orwin is able to apply a double damage to all physical units, and Wenda is able to apply double damage to all magic units. However, the drawbacks that they have make them a little bit iffy. Both of them you have to time up insanely good to go ahead and get an infinite buff on them and actually get the double damage, or else you'll just get a 25% damage buff. That does make them a little bit harder to run, but if you know how to do this infinite buff, it makes it so easy to run any stage. The reason I'd recommend them over Griffith is because they don't require the same level of investment that Griffith requires. Griffith, you need to invest like tens of thousands of yen into like units to sacrifice. But yeah, outside of that, Wenda and Orwin, definitely the best units, bro. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed this unit guide. I'll definitely be dropping more AA guides in the future. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. It's me, Mr. Mugma, signing off. Goodbye.